Hey, I want to discuss men's mental health, the silent crisis that nobody wants to talk about. And I want to start with a number every single day in the UK. More than 14 men die by suicide. Not a week, not a month. Every single day. While you were sleeping last night, men died. While you were making your morning coffee, man died. While you're watching this video right now, somewhere, a man is at the edge of something he doesn't know how to come back from. And the world is largely quiet about it. That silence, that's what this episode is about. Because I think that silence is the most dangerous things we've ever normalized. I want to welcome you back. This episode is episode 3. And I'm going to be honest with you from the start. This one is personal. This one it's a little personal to write. It is home. It's practically the reason why I created this channel. But I think the things that hurt the most are usually the things that need to be said the loudest. So I guess here we go. Let me give you a full picture, because I think most people don't know how bad it is in the UK. In 2024, there were 7,147 registered suicide deaths. 3/4 of them, 75%, were men. That pattern hasn't changed since the mid-1990s. Not once. 30 years of the same, devastating, and somehow it doesn't make the news. The male suicide rate in England and Wales right now sits at 17.6 per 100,000 people. And the female rate is 5.7. Men are dying by suicide at 3 times the rate of women. 3 times. And that number should be realistically 0. And here's the part that makes me frustrated. The male suicide rate in England and in Wales is currently the highest it's been this entire century. Not in the 1980s, this century. Right now, it went to its lowest point in 2007. And since then, it's been steadily climbing back up. We are going backwards. Now, globally, around the world, approximately 740,000 people, that's a lot, die by suicide every year. That's 1 death every 43 seconds. And men account for the overwhelming majority of those deaths in almost every single country on the planet. In the United States, men die by suicide at nearly 4 times the rate of women. In Lithuania, the male suicide rate is 50 per 100,000. South Korea is 37 per 100,000. Ireland is 79% of all suicide deaths are male. These aren't just numbers. Each of those are a person. A son, a father, a friend. A man who at some point decided that there was no way out. Other than this one. And we have to ask ourselves honestly, what are we doing about it? What are we actually doing? Here's what I think sits underneath all of those numbers. And it's not weakness, it's the opposite. Men don't talk because they've been trained not to. From the moment most of us were old enough to understand the world around us, we were absorbing a message through, push through it, sort it out. Don't burden people, don't make it weird, man up. And that message wasn't always delivered with cruelty. Sometimes it came from The people who loved us, parents, teachers, older men, who were just passing down what has been taught. The script, the underwritten rule book for being a man that nobody actually wrote down, but everybody seems to know. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I escaped that. I didn't. I learned very early how to be functional in my pain, how to show up, crack a joke, look completely fine on the outside, while something underneath was still quietly rotting. And I got good at it. Most men do. Because here's the thing that nobody tells you. Suppressing your feelings doesn't make them disappear. It just makes you better at hiding them. And men become world class at hiding it. We go to work, we provide, we perform. And in the gaps between all of that performing, the thing that we haven't dealt with just gets bigger and quieter. And more dangerous. The research backs this up. In Great Britain, almost 70% of people have never visited a mental health professional. And that percentage is significantly higher in men. Not because men don't suffer, but because the entry point into mental health support was never really designed with men in mind. The language feels foreign. The aesthetic feels foreign. The men walk up to that door, look through the glass and think, this isn't for me. And they just turn around and walk away. And then we wonder why the numbers keep climbing. I want to say something, and this is why it's so close to me. My friend passed away recently, and I just want to leave it at that. The reason I'm telling you it isn't for sympathy. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand that this isn't abstract to me. This isn't a topic I chose because it gets views, if anything. This is something that I carry. I'll miss him. And I think a lot of you carry something similar. A person, a memory, a moment where you found out that somebody you knew had been drowning and nobody around them knew how to throw a rope. So why in 2025, with more mental health awareness campaigns than ever before, with therapy apps and wellness podcasts and Instagram accounts dedicated to self-care, why is a male suicide rising? I think there are a few things happening at once. The first is loneliness. There is male loneliness epidemic happening right now, and it doesn't get nearly enough attention. Research consistently shows that men have fewer close friendships than women. Men are likely to have someone they can call in a genuine crisis. And as men get older, their social circles shrink in ways that women typically don't. Loneliness isn't just unpleasant, it's clinically dangerous. It is associated with cognitive decline, physical health deterioration, and significantly increased suicide risk. We are living through an epidemic of men who are deeply functionally alone. And we are not treating it with the urgency it deserves. The second thing that the world has changed faster than men have been given permission to adapt to is the traditional structures that gave many men a sense of identity and purpose. A work, the provider role, a community have shifted enormously. And the conversation about masculinity in public discourse right now is frankly a mess. Men are being told to be vulnerable, but then mocked when they are. Told to open up, but given no safe space to do this. And I've seen it firsthand. Told that their struggles matter, but then watching those struggles get immediately redirected into a conversation about something else. And a lot of men quietly concluded, nobody actually wants to hear this, so they stop. They stop trying to say it, they stop trying to open up. And again, I've seen this firsthand. And I think a lot of people don't realize this when you get into conversation about this, how quickly people can close up. This is the part where I care the most. Because awareness without action is just performance. And if you're a man watching this, here's what I want you to take away. Check on your friends. Not the "are you alright?" Check in. Check in where you're already walking away before they answer. A real one, sit down, ask a proper question, and then stay for the actual answer, whatever it might be. Don't flinch. Don't immediately let's try to fix it or change the subject or the conversation. Don't make it weird by making it a big deal. Just be present and listen. Because research tells us that the single most protective factor against male suicide is social connection. Not therapy, not medication, not campaigns. Real human connection. The kind where somebody feels genuinely seen. And that something every single day, one of us can offer. Normalize talking about hard things, especially between men, not in a forced performative way. Just let it be okay. If a mate says he's struggling, don't panic. Don't change the subject. Don't make a joke to diffuse the tension. Just be the person who stays. If somebody's making a joke, opening up, making a joke about it's the worst thing that you can do. It makes them close up, and it shows the unseriousness about it. Because I promise you that the person who stays is more valuable than they're willing to ever know. If you're struggling yourself, reach out to one person, not a hotline. If that feels too formal, just one person in your life, a mate, a family member, anyone. Say, I'm not doing great. That's it. You don't need a speech. You don't need the right words. You just need to say it out loud to someone. I want to speak to the woman watching. Because this isn't just a men's issue. The men in your life, your partners, your fathers, your brothers, your friends, they need something from you that they probably can't ask directly. Give them permission to not be okay. Not in a pitying way. In a genuine, consistent way. Let the men in your life see what their vulnerability won't change. How you see them. That admitting struggle won't make them less in your eyes. Because a lot of men are silent specifically because they're terrified of what honestly might cost them. Their relationship, their image, the sense of being somebody who has it together. If the people around them, and particularly the women they love and respect, make it consistently clear those things are safe, that talking won't cost them everything. More men will talk. And I know there will be men in the comments saying, well, when I open up, it's always used against me. And this is where women need to understand that if somebody opens up to you, you can't be using that to throw it back in their face. They've opened up. That's the easiest way to close somebody down. Check in the same way I just described. Ask real questions. Stay for the real answers. And if a man in your life opens up to you, honor it. It probably took everything he had. And if you're genuinely worried about it, say it directly. Don't hint. Don't wait for the right moment. There is no right moment. Ask, are you okay? Like, actually. I want to be really practical here before I close. So I'm asking you today, go find your why, whatever it looks like. A son, a dream, a person, a purpose. Find it. Hold on to it. Because when the how gets hard, and it will get hard, your why is what keeps you from standing. We have awareness. We have the statistics, which I'll put at the bottom of the video. We have the campaigns. What we're missing is the daily, unglamorous, ordinary act of actually showing up for each other. Not when it's convenient, not when somebody's obviously falling apart, but before that, in the regular Tuesday conversation in the texts you keep meaning to send. In the moments when you noticed something was off, but you didn't want to make it awkward. Those moments are where men are saved or lost. My friend didn't die because nobody cared. He died because in the moment he needed the most, the gap between what he was carrying and what anyone around him knew how to hold was too wide. Let's close that gap, one conversation at a time. If this meant something to you, share it with somebody. Because somewhere, right now, there's a man who needs to hear this, needs to see this. Thank you.